Hello, grade 9. This is our lesson today, which is lesson 4.2, geometry, which we will talk about congruence and congruence, similarity of congruent figures. Our objective to study this lesson today to recognize congruent figures and their corresponding congruent parts. So once we will decide that the two figures are congruent, then we have to recognizing the congruent parts in those two congruent figures. Congruent figures, two or more figures, segments, angles, triangles, and so on, that have the same shape and same size. So once we have the same shape and the same size, then this will guide us to know that the two figures are congruent. Whatever, if we are talking about two line segments, two angles, two triangles, two polygons. And the symbol of congruent, like you see here in front of you, so this is related to the congruent. Congruent polygons. Two polygons are congruent if all the pairs of corresponding sides and all the pairs of corresponding angles are congruent. So once we have all the pairs of corresponding sides are equal in length and all the pairs of corresponding angles are equal in measure, then we can say that the two figures are congruent. Examples of congruent polygons. We can see two triangles, two quadrilaterals, and two triangles. We can slide the figure, we can flip the figure, sorry, or we can turn the figure, then slide, flip, turn, which is translate, reflection, rotate. If two figures are congruent, then one figure can be mapped onto the other one. Okay, so the two figures are congruent once we have the same exactly figures. If you will take it and put it over the other, they will seem like you have the same shape. Then how do I know if sides or angles are congruent? So we have to think about this question. If figures are drawn to scale, so we said that the figure drawn already to scale, then we can measure the corresponding angles and measure the corresponding sides. So we can use the geometric tools like the ruler to find the length of the segments or the protractor to find the measure of the angles, and then we will recognize that each two corresponding sides are equal or each two corresponding angles are equal, then we can say that the two figures are congruent. But what about if the figures are not drawn to scale? So we have to write or to recognize by a marking. Like what? When we look at the two shapes which we have it in your left hand or in your right hand, you have two sides. Sometimes we put a thick like this or two thicks like this. So, but by the end, we are talking about the same meaning, that they are congruent. They have the same length. And also the angle markings like hops here, we can put, did you see this sign and this sign, or we can make it double if we have more than one angle and we want to denote that those angles are equal in measure. So we can use angle markings to say that they are congruent. Now we have an exercise that's given triangle REM congruent with the triangle FEM. List the corresponding congruent parts. So how we are going to find the corresponding congruent parts? So we have 6 elements. We have, in case we have two triangles, and he said already that they are congruent, then we are looking for 6 elements. We are looking for three sides and 3 angles. Okay, then we will back to the two triangles and we have to describe which two sides they will be congruent. Then we will start with RE with FE, EM with EM. Then EM with EM, this is called what? We can note that we have a sharing side between the two triangles. Then this side is called a common side or reflexive property or reflexive side. Then we have now RE it will be congruent with FE. And second, we have EM. As I said, EM is a common side. And then we have the third one, it will be RM with FM. Then first with second, RE with FE, EM with EM, and we said that this is common side, and then we have RM with FM. So the third, it will be RM with FM. So this is the three sides which they will be congruent sides, the corresponding sides. Okay, then we have RE congruent with FE, and we have RE is a common side, and then we have RM congruent with FM. When we look at the triangles here, so we have RE, it will be congruent with FE, and we have RM congruent with FM, and the sharing side, this one, which is a common side between the two triangles. So this is how we can find the corresponding congruent sides. We will move now to the second part, which is corresponding angles. Then we will start with REM, then REM, so angle REM, it will be congruent with angle FEM. So angle REM congruent with angle FEM, and we can put the sign in the figure. Then I have this angle congruent with this angle. What else? Which two angles they will be congruent? So we can say EMR with EMF. Then EMR, this angle, it will be congruent with EMF. Then we will write here the second pair, angle EMR, it will be congruent with angle EMF. What is the third one? Angle R with angle F. If I want to say them by three letters, so it will be E, so it will be angle ERM with angle EFM. So we can say angle ERM with angle EFM. So the third pair, it will be angle ERM, it will be equal with angle EFM. Okay, so this is how we can express the angles which they are corresponding congruent parts when we have two triangles are congruent. So once we have two triangles are congruent and we want to describe which corresponding parts, so we have to talk about three sides and three angles, because he said already that they are congruent. Let's move to another question. This one, the triangle RTV congruent with the triangle LTC. So we can mention the sides now. So we can start with RT with LT, TV with TC, and RV with LC. Again, we can work step by step. First with second, like here, it will be RT with LT. So we will go to the figure, RT with LT. Second, TV with TC. Then TV with TC. And then the third, it will be RV with TC. So I have the third are congruent, because he said that they are congruent triangles, then each two corresponding sides, they will be equal in length. Then RT, it will be congruent with LT, then RT congruent with LT, second CT congruent with VT, and RV with CT. Now, if we will imagine that we are going to fold the two triangles over each other, then CT, it will not be congruent with RT. So we have to cut the triangle and we will flip it. Okay, we will turn the triangle. Then we will find that angle C, it will be congruent with angle V. And what else? An angle it will be congruent with angle R. And we have two opposite angles here. They will be equal. Then, if I want to describe the angles now, which they are congruent, so we can say RTV, we will back to the triangle, so it will be RTV with LTV. What else? RV. It will be with what? We said TRV, so it should be TLC, then TLC. What else? Third, we can start from the middle, TVR with TCL. Okay, then this is how we can use the corresponding angles. Again, RTV with LTV. Then start from the middle, TRV, TLC. And then the middle again, but from the other side, TVR with TCR. By this way, you can find the corresponding parts which they are congruent, even if you are talking about sides or angles. So sides, you can say again, RT with LT, TV with TC, and then RV with LC. So by this way, we can express how we are going to use congruent sides to from the congruent figures. So once we have two congruent figures, then we can express the corresponding congruent parts, even if they are sides or angles. And we can use it as an applications with solving equations, like the questions which you can find it in your workbook, page 65. Then you will use the corresponding parts, and then you will solve the equation to find the value of unknown variable. So this was our lesson today about congruent figures.